morning. Welcome to the garden. Today I thought we'd look over some of the garden beds, see what's growing here in our southwest desert garden. We're at an elevation of 2,800 feet, U.S. Garden Zone 8B, in the northeasternmost corner of the Mojave Desert. So I thought maybe a look around the garden could give people ideas of what grows here, and let us know in the comments section what you're growing in your garden, maybe something about what zone you're in, and let's get started with a little tour of what's in the garden bed, what's growing right now. In this garden bed we have Gustav's salad. We're not harvesting the entire head. Just when you want a piece, you come along, you take one of the outer ones. You just go around the whole plant taking outer ones and then leave the rest of it and it'll keep growing. It's sweet, it's delicious. We have another lettuce in the yard called Paris Island, and that's pretty good too. Swiss chard is a carryover from a fall planting. As a matter of fact, it's a spring planting from last year. Still going. Just a small one because there are several put together, and I go around and pick the outer edges of it ongoingly, feed it to the chickens and put it in our breakfast. This pea going up the line there is called sugar bond, and it's supposed to stay short and not need to be trellised. So I'm looking forward to tasting a pea that's new to me. In this bed we're trying celery for the first time. And we have onions going. And 4 patty pans. That's that squash that's got the jagged edges. It's yellow, really pretty and tasty. Bed to the side of us, there's a couple rows of carrots, a yod pha that's going to seed. There are onions and just a couple of melons. This is Madhu Ras. As the yod pha is going to seed, I wanted to show you these pretty flowers. Alright, the yod pha has shot up, flowered, and now is putting on this pod. And that's where the seeds will be, inside the pod. So we'll let it keep going and establishing good seeds, and then we'll have a bunch of seeds to harvest. In this bed we have cilantro that will very soon be going to seed. You can tell it's bolted, which is just this part here shooting upward. Otherwise it's, it's sort of uniform, a little bushy. But then once it starts shooting up, you know that it's going to go to seed. And I let a couple go to seed so I can collect more seeds and keep planting. And others we're going to cut down, take it all in the house, blend it with olive oil in the blender, and then put cilantro and olive oil in the freezer and use them in recipes as days go by. There's also carrots in this bed. Way down there. Between the 2 pomegranates, there's a pomegranate there and one there. They're leafing out. Very beautiful. Between the 2 we have Cilantro beet. These have been overwintered. We started them in late September, and as you know it is beginning of April now, so beets are one of those things you can put in the fall garden and harvest later on. Same with the cilantro. These are a fall planting. Here is a row of Chicago pickling cucumbers. If you're wondering about them being planted in the ground in containers, I was having a roly-poly issue when I put brand new plants in the ground, having started these from seed in the house. With the tomatoes and the peppers, they were getting snapped off and eaten and perishing, and I had to put in replacement plants. So I cut out the bottoms of my yogurt containers and planted them that way, and the roly-polies are hitting the container and crawling around. And so I decided to do that for the cucumbers too, because I wanted to make sure I had cucumbers that didn't get eaten away as soon as I put them in the ground. As they grow, we'll trellis them on this string. In this patch we've planted baby orchard corn. It hasn't come up yet. It's supposed to be about 3 feet tall. We'll see. That's a first. Haven't grown that corn before. And then in this same bed, I've got a squash that's new to me. I've got 4 of these planted out. Zapalito de Tronco. It's supposed to be sort of a zucchini roundish shape. Looking forward to trying that. It's supposed to be heat tolerant, so that'll be good in our garden. And along here I've put in Cherokee Trail of Tears bean, and that is new to me also. I hope it does well. This is sort of a first attempt at Three Sisters planting, which is to plant corn, squash, and beans all either right with each other or nearby each other. I decided not to put the corn and the beans right together. That's a thing. Let the beans wrap around and use the corn as trellis. But I thought since it's such a short corn, maybe the beans might need more room to grow, and I didn't want it to choke out a little corn plant. Anyway, squash, corn, and beans are sisters, and just as sisters thrive together when they live near one another, apparently so do squash, corn, and beans. So we'll give that style of planting a try. More Gustav's salad, intercropped with a couple of, it's the spring planted Gustav's salad, intercropped with fall planted beets, couple carryover onions also, a little bit more celery. I put the celery in about 5 different spots in the garden because it's new to me. I didn't know which garden it might like the best. These are Amish paste tomatoes with more salad in front of it. Amish paste will be new to me this year. Tomatoes we plant every year, but just enjoy trying new heirloom tomatoes as years go by. So the Amish paste is one I'm hoping will do well. Really hoping to be able to make pizza sauce and ketchup or something, make something out of it. Grapes grow well in the desert, here in our desert, and they travel around down the line. Oh yay, look at my fig. I've seen everybody else's fig blooming, but not mine. And I was starting to cry inside about it because I pruned this rather severely this last year. You've got the sun in your eyes. Maybe I'll switch around. Hang on. There we go. There we go. Different shot with the sun behind us or to the side of us. I gave this a bigger pruning than I usually do. I prune it every year, but I was thinking, man, this tree is so tall and you can't reach the fruit that's way up, 25 feet in the air. And they say with mature fruit trees to not prune them beyond 1/4 of their height, and I took this down by half. And then they also say to wait until winter to prune a tree when it's gone dormant, and I pruned it at the end of autumn, And so I felt like I had done everything wrong, and I was all worried about whether it was going to come back or not. And then you go around town and you see everybody else's fig trees in bloom, and you say, oh, I killed my fig tree. What did I do? What did I do? And let's see. You see that? Maybe I should get one of the ones that's glowing in the sun. Anyway, I am overjoyed to see this growth. These are more of those Madhu Ras melons, and I will report on those, and as the months go by we'll see how well they do here. This is a part of the garden that I am trying to establish, so the soil is not the best yet. We'll see if they can power through. We have kale, and it's bolting and going to seed, which is good because my seed packet is now empty and I want to collect from this. So that's pretty. That's what it looks like going to seed. And it'll develop a pod just like the Yodfa. And then we'll collect. There's one that has not bolted. And there's the Paris Island cause lettuce we talked about a minute ago. Look how pretty the leaves are backlit by the sun. And then in that bed we have more of the sugar bond pea, and we have a broccoli, Calabrese broccoli. We'll see if that comes up. It's minuscule at the moment. Left of us we have Colorado Red Star. First time growing artichoke. Planted it last spring. It has overwintered and not fruited yet. We'll see. If it fruits for us this year, I'd be so happy to try this and see what we like, how we like the flavor. There's our Sugarloaf garden sign that my son made. And then circling round, the artichoke is more of that sugar bond pea. In a circle because that's the shape of my drip line. We had a small tree here one time, so we put a drip line around it. So there's another grape, and then down the line are peppers, Pippin Golden Honey Peppers, Cherokee Purple Tomato, and then Ivarsky peppers. Maybe, hopefully you can see this. So the roly-poly's 8 right here. This is where the healthy stem is. The plant is surviving, so I left the plant. In others where the plant had keeled over all the way and was really truly snapped off, that's where we put in replacement plants. Cut out the bottom of the yogurt container and set it in there. Then the roly-polies crawled right up to it, hit it, and went round. So they're not going up and over and in there and eating the stems. So a little extra protection for some of the plants this year. To this side of the chicken coop, we have black strawberry tomato, and I think it's supposed to be small. I think it's a cherry tomato. I don't know. I've never grown it. Picture looked small. Around the chicken coop is an area that used to be just filled with weeds, and so we've transformed it and plant intentionally in it now. Such a good choice. I'm very happy with the result. There's Swiss chard in the front there. There's Chijimi-sai, which has gone to seed. Look how beautiful the yellow flowers are. There are the leaves. Chijimi-sai is yummy and grows in the desert. I don't know if other people who are growing it are having it bolt already, but there you have it. I'm thinking if we keep growing Chijimi-sai, we will probably always plant it in the fall if it's going to bolt so quickly in the spring. Much like kale and yod pho. This is where the seeds will be, which is good because that was a free sample package, so there weren't a ton of seeds in there. And now I can seed harvest. There's a couple of onions. We've got these spread throughout the yard. These are Texas Early Grano, and they're just really tasty. There's some more beets. Cilantro beet. It's very sweet. Still has that earthy beet flavor, but not as strong as other beet varieties. It's got a sweetness to it that I really like. Anyways, those have overwintered from a fall planting. Strawberries. I had one strawberry plant in here and it shot out runners. This is the runner. And now I have another plant, and one to that side of it, right there. So all of those are babies from this first one. So that's one way to get your strawberry bed going, is let the runners run. Some people want the runners off so they can have their plant focus on fruit production rather than plant production, but I, on the other hand, wanted more strawberry plants. So that's how a strawberry plant propagates itself. I have about 4 more of these little plantings in containers with the bottoms cut out. This is Jubilee watermelon. We've grown it before. It's incredibly tasty. Sometimes melon does really well in our yard and sometimes it doesn't, so we'll see how it does this year. Jubilee watermelon. So good. Here's what a radish looks like going to seed. That's pretty. The white and purple flowers. Here is garlic, a little pepper plant, in a bed with irises that are just starting to bloom. Whew, I got the sun in my eyes. Just to close up and say, feel free to use the comment section if you have any questions about growing edibles in the desert or any comments about what you're growing. Be happy to read those, and as always, happy gardening.